Hello everyone, I'm Elizabeth Shaw and I just wanted to come on and explain a bit more about trauma bonding and ways to recover from narcissistic abuse. Now, a lot of people get asked why they didn't leave sooner, and it's a lot more complicated than what people who haven't lived it seem to think. And those who have lived it, you know there's a lot more to it than just walking out of that door. From the threats and intimidation they put on you, so full of fear of leaving, from the highs and the lows of the relationship, releasing that dopamine and that cortisol that your body becomes chemically addicted to the relationship. And then there's also your 6 human needs as to why you will become addicted to the relationship. And then there's your beliefs around being there for your parents, your beliefs around being there for your siblings, your beliefs around family life and keeping the family home together for the children, that also play a massive part in walking away from these kinds of people. Now, when you do walk away, there's also the feelings of guilt, the feelings of remorse, the feelings of loss, or if they leave you, there's the confusion of why they've left. There's no closure, and a lot of people recovering from narcissistic abuse do feel like they've ended up with a self-certified degree in the narcissistic personality disorder, because as soon as you start Googling someone's behaviour, there is a problem with that person. They have some form of disorder, and once you discover what that disorder is, you can work on who they are, how to defend yourself around them, how to communicate with them, whether you need to go no contact with them. And it's great learning who they are and giving yourself that closure, but you also do need to work on yourself and where your life is taking you now at the same time, by creating new dreams for yourself. And then by taking those baby steps to get you to where you want to be. Now, the human needs, we have fundamental human needs where we need air, we need water, we need food, we need sleep, we need shelter. But we also have the human needs for ourselves personally, which a great man, Tony Robbins, that's worked with millions of people from around the world, discovered. And they are love and connection, growth, contribution, certainty, uncertainty, and significance. Now, when it comes to these human needs, whatever you are doing, whatever action you are taking, once you hit 3 of these human needs, you also become addicted. Now, within a narcissistic relationship, most often, whether they've got the admiration face on and they are treating you better than anyone ever has, or whether they've got the envious face on and they are treating you worse than anyone ever has, whether that be your parent, your partner, your boss, a sibling, all narcissistic people do this. And now I know people say they have a false face and a false face that they put on towards people. They have a disorder. That false face, it's not really a false face, it's who they are, but it's all about meeting their own needs. They have that admiration face to meet their own needs. They have that envious face to meet their own needs. Now, we have something called object consistency and empathy. So when it comes to people, what often causes people that feeling of guilt when they start going no contact with toxic people within their lives. So object consistency is developed around the age of 2 or 3, meaning if there is distance between people or if there is disagreements between people, you can still care about them, which is most often why people go chasing them, to try and make it up to them, to try and sort it out, find compromises. Now, narcissistic people haven't usually developed the skill set of object consistency, meaning when there is conflict or distance, they simply switch off and don't care. Why they find using the silent treatment against people so easy to do, and why you find it torturous when they do it to you, because you want to sort things out and relate to them and communicate with them and have peace. You don't want that distance and that negativity within your life. Now, when it comes to a narcissistic relationship, you actually meet all 6 of those human needs, because you have love and connection. So if it's your parents, your beliefs are formed around your childhood and you don't know any different. You accept behaviours as normal that you should never have accepted, because those are the behaviours you learned from your parents growing up. And when it comes to love and connection, because parents or partners can treat you right when it meets a need of their own, you feel connected to them and you feel love for them, you feel empathy for them, and you connect on that deeper level with them. They, on the other hand, connect with you when it meets a need of their own, when they think they're going to gain something from it. So if they've got that admiration face on and they're showering you and you're showering them back with admiration, they feel love and connection with you. They want that praise, they want that admiration. They're not interested in you, they're interested in that praise and admiration. Now, when they are feeling envious and when they've got that envious face on and when they are coming at you with the rage and the anger, they feel connected towards you and you also feel connected towards them. When you've got someone in your face shouting at you, raging at you, and you're not sure what's going to happen next, you are connected in a negative way. And like I said, when you hit 3 of these human needs, you become addicted, and you can become addicted negatively, positively, or neutrally. And in a narcissistic relationship, you do become addicted positively when they've got the admiration face on, neutrally when it's just running along okay-ish, if you can call it that, and negatively when they're throwing all the gaslighting, the silent treatments, the anger, the rage, the projection, the blame shifting at you. So when it comes to significance, narcissistic people do feel entitled. They don't have cognitive reflection. They cannot look back and reflect on what they have done. To them, it's always someone else's fault. They rewrite history to suit their own needs. They believe that within their own mind because they can't look back and reflect at what truly happened, which is why their lies come across with such conviction and so convincing towards others. So they want to feel significant. So they will put on that admiration face towards you to get that admiration back and feel significant within that relationship. And then if you are doing something they don't want you to do, if you're getting attention from other people, if you're succeeding in your career, they will feel envious for that, which is when the envious face comes out, because they don't feel as significant as a role in your life, which is why they will sulk, they will silent treatment, they will provoke you with arguments to stop you doing what you want to do. They will invalidate your feelings, they will invalidate who you are, to put you down, to put you in that trance, to keep you under and to keep you hooked in. Then with growth, when it comes to growth with a relationship with a narcissist, in a personal relationship, when they come and they match all your likes and dislikes, they mirror you in every way. Most have usually studied you beforehand. And they have all the same dreams as you have. So you feel like you're growing with them. You feel like your life is going to go somewhere with someone and you've met the right one. And it becomes increasingly difficult because all those false promises never get met. And they are most often twisted around and turned onto you as to why they haven't done something. So when it comes to growth, you get that temporary growth where you think you're going somewhere and then you get stuck. And when you're not growing, you're dying, and you feel like you're dying. Your mind's confused from all the cognitive dissonance caused by all the gaslighting that they inflict on you, when they start telling you that that never happened, or you're insecure, you're crazy, and all the other stuff that they come out with. That confuses your mind because you've got the reality that you've lived. You know they said something, or you know they didn't say something, and that you've seen their nice, caring side. You know that's who they can be. Yet at the same time, they're now stood there in front of you denying it. You've got the rage and the anger and the ugly side to them, which doesn't match who they once were, and it really does confuse your mind, which is why most people do come out of a relationship feeling like they've gone crazy. You haven't. Your mind's just been infected by toxic people, and same as observe, don't absorb. When you've got a bottle of poison, if you drink that, it is going to infect you. If you leave it where it is, it's not going to have an effect on you. So learning to leave them where they are. Now, when it comes to uncertainty and certainty, you've met someone, you've made arrangements for the rest of your life with them, or if it's your parents, you know that they're your parents. Friends, bosses, you've got jobs, you've got that level of certainty within that. But then also, because you're never going to know where you're going to stand with them from one day to the next, you've also got a big level of uncertainty looming over you. So it meets both your needs, and it meets both their needs of certainty and uncertainty. And if they get into a pattern of certainty, which is why you can actually be going along quite smoothly with them, and then all of a sudden they up and leave and they've cheated on you, because they need to bring you back that level of uncertainty. And it's a pattern of who they are. And the same comes to contribution. When you're showering them with love and affection and attention and doing as they want you to do, and you under their control, they feel that you are contributing towards them. They're not interested in what they're contributing towards you. They're interested in what you are contributing towards their life. And you feel like you're contributing because when they've got that admiration face on, when you are looking after them, so to speak, when you are meeting their needs, when you are helping them out, you feel like you're contributing towards the relationship. And when they've got that envious face on and they're giving you the silent treatments, and that is psychological torture in itself, but when they are giving you those and you are trying to work out what you've done wrong from all the blame shifting, because you care about them, because you've got empathy for them, you're trying to sort out the problems within the relationship, and you're trying to be nice. And then when they come back with all the play nice again, just to reel you back in some more, you feel like you contributed to that relationship growing again and developing again, when really it just keeps cycling back round to the end. So what you need to do is, most people that come out of this relationship do start Googling the behaviour. We do find out a lot about narcissists, and it gives us that closure. Most humans want closure. That does give you the closure that you will need, and the understanding, because people want to know why. It's such a simple question. People want to know why, and people also want to know how, so that we can work it out within our own minds and set our own minds back on track. We can lose all the self-doubt, we can lose all the invalidation, we can readjust our beliefs to our way of living, we can readjust our boundaries to what we will and will not accept from people. But at the same time as studying the disorder and finding out what has happened to you, you also need to work on growing, on finding new areas, on finding new dreams, on fulfilling your life again for what you want out of your life. So people do end up isolated from these kinds of relationships, whether the narcissist has done all their triangulation games to cut you off from people, whether the narcissist is smearing your name and other people are believing the narcissist lies. Now, leave them to it. You know who you are. And if you don't, keep asking yourself, who am I? And keep working on who you are. Leave them to it. Play no part in the smear campaign. It dies off a lot quicker if you're not playing any part in it. And I know in the beginning that is incredibly difficult to do so, because it's human nature to want to defend ourselves. That is what they want. They want you to defend yourself so that you can come across as crazy when all you're doing is defending yourself. But because all your emotions are tied in there, it's not a good idea. Most of us have done it at some point, so don't worry if you have. Just now start to take a step back from that and start working on you and your life. And when it comes to love and connection, a lot of people do start finding that support with online friends. It's amazing the online friends that you can make from this. But also, if you've been cut off from people who, they might have tried to warn you at some point. They might have seen something that they just didn't quite like. Their instincts just shouted up and they couldn't help themselves but tell you. But because you were conflicted with what was going off, you didn't believe them, which is fine. A lot of us do that also. And try getting back in touch with those people, because good people will still care about you. Good people will try and understand you, and good people will want to help you. When it comes to significance, giving back, which is why online support groups can help. Now, you don't want to be in one that's full of negativity. Yes, there's going to be negative stuff in there because people want answers, people are asking questions, people are needing to tell their story and get it out of their headspace. You can do this by writing it all down as well, personally to yourself, if you don't want to share it with other people. So try and find one that has a bit of positivity to it as well, so that you can contribute to people, you can help people and they can help you. But there's lots of areas where you can fill these needs up now in a positive way. Either looking at career changes, looking at online courses, looking at going back to school, looking at starting new hobbies. And I know with anxiety, it can be difficult to get back out there. So working on your anxiety does help massively to get you taking those steps to get yourself back out there. Working on anxiety is things like the calming point. So when recognising your triggers, you need to recognise your triggers when it comes to anxiety. Once you can recognise your triggers and you can feel that your anxiety is coming on, if you just rub your hand there as it's coming, and it will calm you back down, or tell yourself that you're not going there, you're not going in that place anymore. Bring yourself back into the present moment of what you are doing in the here and now. Bring yourself back into that present moment, even if you're just washing the pots. Focus on washing the pots. I know focusing on washing the pots seems a bit interesting, but it really does bring you out of... If you're washing the pots and messages trigger you and your phone buzzes and you've got a message and you can feel it coming on, if you take your mind off that and onto what you're doing, it shifts it a lot quicker. Also, finding something to focus on, finding a photo of something that makes you smile, watching something on TV that makes you laugh, just finding things to help you bring yourself back into that present moment, find your laughter, get clarity on your own thoughts. Now, there is rational anxiety. So if you're if you're crossing a road and there's a big lorry hurtling towards you, that's rational anxiety. And then there is irrational anxiety, which is programmed into you from walking on eggshells over a long period of time around the narcissist. And now it's time for it's in your subconscious. So now it's time for your conscious to bring out the subconscious, to work out what things trigger you, to work out whether it's rational or not. and to start building back into having normal anxiety levels, having that rational anxiety and not that irrational anxiety. I do have a few videos that explain more about anxiety. So joining clubs, if there's something you enjoyed, if there's a sport you enjoyed in your childhood, joining clubs where you can meet new people, where you will hit uncertainty, especially recovering from anxiety and narcissistic relationship. It will feel uncertainty to begin with when you're getting out there. It'll feel connection when you start connecting with people. It will feel growth because you'll be doing something new, contribution if you're playing a team sport, and then as you get into that routine of it, it will fill your need for certainty because you know you'll be going, you'll know you'll be seeing people. And so it's finding positive ways to fill those human needs once you're out of that relationship. Creating new goals for yourself, creating new dreams for yourself, and having steps to get you there, why you want to do that now, and then finding the methods to get you to the point of where you want your life to go for you now, in the present and in the future. Living more in the present, releasing the past, getting over the past and leaving that exactly where it belongs, in the past. Your past does not define your future. Negative people do not define who you are or who you want to be. You define who you are. You define who you want to be. And you've got to consciously make the effort to do that, to make that change now. Now, we all have a talent within us. We all have a natural talent within us of something we enjoy doing for us. So whether that is being a hairdresser, you enjoy cutting hair, you are contributing to other people, you are significant in the role that you play, you are certain in the job that you do, you feel connected with people when you're chatting away, cutting the hair. And again, if it's something that you've never done before, you do have to learn it. But if you've got a passion for it, if you have a passion and a drive for it, as you are learning, those days when it becomes difficult or you just can't be bothered, because you're passionate about it, it'll give yourself that kick up the bum to go and do it. The same as if you're a lorry driver. If you enjoy driving the roads of the country, you are contributing to humans. You are delivering goods that people need. You might chat to people along the way. You are significant within the role you play. So it doesn't matter how big or how small. It's down to you and your beliefs and who you want to be. If you want to be an artist, if you want to be a singer, find places you can sing. If you want to be a painter, start painting. We all have the same time in the day. And I know, especially if you're a single parent, time can seem to consume you and eat you up, and you can't find the time, but you can adjust things. You can change your routines after this kind of relationship also helps massively. Creating new routines for you. And if you can adjust those routines, even just to fit 10 minutes of painting in, 10 minutes of reading in, 10 minutes of writing in, it's all about you. What if you can think back to the childhood? I don't know, some might have had traumatic childhoods, but there'll be something somewhere at some point that you did that you really enjoyed. So looking back into that again, playing a musical instrument. And it's the same when you learn to play a piano. I've never played a piano in my life, so if I went to play a piano now, it wouldn't sound too great. Probably sound atrocious and you might need earplugs. But if I enjoyed that and if I practiced and studied, I would learn. I would have mistakes along the way, but I would learn how to do it. And if I really truly enjoyed doing it, then when I'm making those mistakes, when those days where it's just not working out how I wanted it to, it would drive me forward to the next day to go again. And on those days where it hits, where something just isn't quite going how you expected or wanted it to go, look back at where you started. The piano example, look back at the very first day you started playing that piano and what it was like, and then look what it was like 3 weeks later. But you've got to be consistent in it. You've got to set a time of when you're going to do these things so that it becomes programmed within your daily routine to keep you going, to keep you working, to keep that drive, to keep that determination. Because life does hit, it does throw curveballs, it does, even when things are going great, things come along and send you on a wobble. And it's about finding those coping strategies and those methods to pick yourself back up and to move on to a much happier life. And you can and you will move on to a much happier life. Keep working on you, keep learning about who you want to be, and keep going. You have got this.